Thank you all for being here tonight. And we really are excited about this meeting, as you probably sensed from our emails, because the topic is pretty timely. The things that we're going to talk about tonight, Kevin was afraid that you would all think I orchestrated the Equifax breach. Just to confirm that I think you should pay attention to identity theft and financial fraud. So I just really want to thank you for being here, because it is a really important topic, and we've been really on the campaign for financial fraud and identity theft protection this year. There have been many, many examples that are not about use of your credit card. I shared with you that my miles were stolen out of my Mileage Plus account. We had someone who brought their social security statement into me about the benefits that they were collecting, but they weren't collecting. Someone had stolen their social security number, gone to social security, and actually collected benefits. Someone else shared about a ComEd scam that happened in the last couple days that, they call, they leave a message, you need to call us with your credit card number because we're going to turn your power off, you're overdue. A scam. These people are getting very, very, very smart. It used to be just the IRS scams. So it's a really important topic, and we've got many things to share with you tonight that I think you'll go home with a lot of value add and things that you can apply in your own life to protect your situations. Something I do want to share with you very briefly, I won't get into a lot of detail. Those of you in the room that are in the Savos portfolio in AssetMark, and even those of you who are not, that we may be talking to you in the next couple of weeks about moving into Savos, we've been working very closely with Savos to create a Hannon custom portfolio. So you all know that I'm very concerned about tax sensitivity and making sure that we don't give Uncle Sam an extra penny than we need to give him. So we want to make sure, I wanted to make sure that these portfolios are working better for us, as well as customization and giving our money managers the opportunity to do more controlling of the portfolio on our behalf. Also, does anybody in the room like the bull market we've been on? Is anybody concerned about when this is going to end? What we're doing is we're putting on, as we're calling it, an airbag. So you drive your car, you never think about your airbag, you get in a little fender bender, your seatbelt worked, you didn't need the airbag. So when we see some slight corrections, a 5 or a 10% decline in the market, what's my mantra? The market goes up and the market goes down. When the market takes a greater than 20% decline, which we refer to as a bear market, I want the airbag to deploy. So with Savos, we've been able to create this portfolio that will allow us to capitalize on this equity market while it's continuing to go up. And then we deploy the airbag if we see that 20% decline. So again, as part of what I do for all of you in your portfolios, we are further mitigating the risk on the equity portfolio. I share this tonight not to take time from the other important things. We are going to have some emails going out the next couple weeks that I want you to pay attention to. Some of you that are not in the Savos portfolios, we're going to be making recommendations to move into them with the dollars that are in other places. Not Clark so much, unless somebody wants to do that, and like Ed and Joanne will talk later, but in some of the other portfolios where I don't have the control of the portfolio, we can't have the tax sensitivity because maybe it's ETFs, or it's a different portfolio where it's not as transparent to us. So we'll be talking about those things. I'm asking you just pay attention because we'll need to be receiving responses to emails or having phone conversations. You'll see those in the next couple weeks from us. So we move on. We've got Jackson presenting tonight, which they are the host of the meeting. So we want to thank Doug Kress when he gets up here, but we're going to do a review of our variable annuities. ID Shield, Kevin and I are going to do a very brief update because it actually happens that most of you in the room have signed on now to have this security, the identity theft and fraud protection. And Alpha Computer Experience, or ACE, as you will see the acronym, and we kindly refer to him in our office, is the IT gentleman that I've worked with for the past 15 years, who is brilliant. I call him Doogie Howser too. He's going to share 5 tips that you can go home with, again, to help yourself in this world, and the things that you can do at home. So we've got a lot that we want to get through. I won't bore you with too much of my stuff. However, and Oh, the star of the show tonight is Detective Patricia Dalton, which is part of the Financial Crimes Unit of the Chicago Police Department. She's on loan tonight, so she is not acting as a Chicago police officer tonight. She's acting as a detective who does financial crimes. And I've asked her to scare you to no end so that you act and take care of yourself. And I know I've seen the PowerPoint, and she will accomplish her goal. Wouldn't be a meeting if I didn't address the Bulls, would it? But really, I'm so sorry I don't have a Cubs slide up here tonight after last night. So that's the team we really want to be talking about right now. Okay, this really gets bad. Those are not the three that I usually have up here. And Kevin showed me this slide, and I said, first of all, where's my Noah? Well, he hasn't been on a slide for 2 years now. But are they 12? This is what our team looks like now. So I tell you to stick with the market when the market's at a low, and I stick with the Bulls when the Bulls are at a low. So I still have my package plan, and I will be going to the game in the hope that they will bring the market back up for us. I think all of you have seen the email recently. So speaking as a really proud mom and blessed enough to be his employer, Kevin Hannon has obtained his certified financial planning certificate, and we are really proud of him. Congratulations, Kevin. Which, like I said before, he's here to stay, folks. There's no getting out now, Kev. And as I also tell people, my mom, who happens to be here tonight, she'll say to me, since Kevin and I didn't get along so well during high school and college, have you two killed each other yet? Is it still okay? That's great, Mom. This is our calendar. We didn't bother putting it at your table tonight. We've been very busy. We have one more meeting. Those of you in Steadfast know we have a meeting 2 weeks from last night. You've gotten your invite, and we're getting our responses. It's a very small meeting. It's not open to the public. It's open to those in Steadfast. Your table handouts, we have a new handout, what THFG does for you. That's at your seat. And then we have a great piece on ID Shield. They just came out with this week. And so we put it in all of your seats, some really good information on things you can do, what they do, but what you can also do for yourself. So we wanted each of you to have that as a handout to take home. Okay, this is how our new no-risk pension scheme works, the cash in the mattress. If you don't like the cartoons, blame Kevin. If you like them, they're mine. Essentials of risk management. Don't do anything wrong today. Don't do anything wrong tomorrow. Repeat. Unfortunately, that's not the way the market works, though. All right, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Doug Kress, who most of you, the last meeting we did with Jackson was 2 years ago in October, and many of you were at that meeting, and you've heard from Doug, so you've heard some of what he has to say. He's got some more news for us tonight, and he does a great presentation. He's the regional vice president for this area. With that, let's welcome Doug Kress.
Yes, for some of those that have seen me years ago, I probably had a little bit more hair then, but that's due to working with Terry for 5 years now, which is a lot to take. But as Terry mentioned, my name is Doug Kress. I'm the regional vice president with Jackson covering the west suburbs. And first, I'd like to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be with us tonight. Thank you for allowing me to be here to speak to you. And for those of you that have some of your assets with Jackson, thank you for having confidence in Terry, and more importantly for me, thank you for having confidence with our company. For those of you that don't have assets with our company, I'm sure that is a conversation that Terry's going to be having with you very, very soon. But for those of you that don't know who we are and what we do, to stick with the theme of tonight, with identity theft and cybersecurity and wireless security and internet security, I'm going to spend 10-15 minutes on financial security and retirement protection. Jackson is the #1 provider of retirement solutions in the U.S. We've been the #1 provider since 2008, and there's a lot of different reasons why, but tonight I want to just discuss briefly of the solutions that we have, how they work, what they can do for you, the highlights of them. And I believe Terry wants me to answer any questions at the end. But as those of you that are in retirement or maybe getting closer to retirement, I ask you one question. I don't expect you to answer this out loud, But do we retire off income or do we retire off lump sums? And as you're thinking in your head, we retire off income streams. And as you think at your tables, and those of you that have these, if you think, if you have one or you know anybody that has one, raise your hand. Have you ever heard of a pension or know anybody that has a pension? Raise your hands. Gosh, there's a lot of them in the room. Good for them. There's, I'm from Michigan where GM, that was a huge benefit of working for the automotive industry is these huge healthy pensions. But the thing that we love about pensions is that they say, you worked for our company for 25 years, thank you, you retire, and here's a check in your mailbox for as long as you live. Right? And that's the way pensions worked. Today what you're seeing is that pensions are too expensive for companies to afford. Social Security is a type of a pension. It's a type of an annuity. So what you see today with companies unable to afford pension plans, the consumer, the retirees, the retail investor is now responsible for supplementing your own income. So what kind of plans do you see today? You see what is called a defined contribution plan. We went from an area where there was defined benefit plans to what is now issued in what is called a defined contribution plan. And how many of you have heard of 401k, 403b, 457? These are all defined contribution plans that you can contribute to it. You add as much money as you possibly can, and sometimes your employer, they do a matching. So we went from a time frame where there was a defined benefit plan, you retired, there's income in your mailbox every single month. Now we're in an environment where it's a defined contribution plan. You're responsible for funding your own retirement. So what is the solution that Jackson offers? It's called a variable annuity, and we actually are the number one provider since 2008 of variable annuities. But if I were to tell you what it is in a nutshell, it's the best of both worlds. It's a defined contribution plan. Put as much money into it as you want. It will continue to grow tax deferred if you're not dealing with qualified money. You get to access to all the different mutual funds, if you will. American funds, Franklin Templeton, T. Rowe Price, low-cost ETFs, index funds. Really, any type of investment that you want to utilize, we have. And the best part is the closer you get to retirement, and when you turn that age of 65, 66, 67, maybe you're in a particular spot where you're able to retire early, you convert it to a defined benefit plan. You switch on the faucet of income and you get guaranteed income in your mailbox every single month for as long as you live. The money continues to stay invested. You have control of the money. Terry has the ability to invest and make changes in the portfolios. But if I can recap, it's a defined contribution plan. Put as much money into it as you want. Let it accumulate. It's going to go up and down with the market, but there is a second value, which is your pension number or your pension value. That continues to go up until you turn on the stream of income or the faucet of income. So I'm going to illustrate this right now. So this is, if we look over the last 15 years of the market, this is what we've experienced, right? We have 2000 market at a high. We had the tech bubble, it burst. The market crashes down to 2002. Then we have success for the next 5 years. Then we have the financial crisis of 2007, which causes the market to go down in 2009. Now we're in 2017 where the equity valuations are very high, and I'm not here to discuss where the market's going to go up and down. But I can tell you this, I can hand this to my 7-year-old niece and say, draw the next line on this board. And at some point, this is going to happen. I don't know when, but are you protected against for when that happens? And that is exactly what we do. We give you those guardrails, we give you those bumpers that for when this happens, and the closer you get to retirement, or if you're in retirement, this is going to have a significant impact of how retirement looks for you. So with the platform that we have and what we offer, the same thing. You're going to invest in the different mutual funds that we have. It's going to go up and it's going to be volatile depending on what funds you're in. But there is a second value that only goes up until you decide to turn on that stream of income. And this is your pension value. So if we put in $100,000 and it steps up if the market goes up, or 5, 6, or 7%, we have a lot of different versions that we offer. But the time that you're ready to take out income, maybe this pension value is $500,000. And this is the value that you take income off of for as long as you live. Even if the market corrects and goes down. You got to think to yourself, would you rather have $1 million, if I gave you $1 million today and said, here's $1 million, or would you rather have $40,000 of income for as long as you live? What would you choose? Would you rather have the lump sum of $1 million, or would you rather have the income of $40,000? There's an old saying, income makes people happy, assets make them miserable. If you were to take that $1 million, you're going to be panicking, anxiety, and you're going to thinking, what am I going to do? You're going to go, Terry, we need to diversify this. What do we need to be in? Do we need to be in bonds? How are we going to preserve this? But if I give you that $40,000 of income, you're going to be happy because you know it's sustainable, it's consistent, and it's guaranteed. So the last piece that I just want to show you is there's different versions. Oh, you know what? I didn't connect. There's different versions. We've been around for a long time, and Terry's been utilizing Jackson for as long as I can remember. So I won't get into the details because there are different versions. I know this is hard to see. So we're going to start on this blue line. I know it's difficult to see it in the back of the room, but this is your contract value. This is your money with the market. It's going to go up and down as I drew it over there. And on the iPad, it shows it going down over here. I know it just turns into a white screen, but the values go down. So the way the pension value works, when I said it's going to go up until you decide to turn on income, it's going to go up by either a certain percentage or the market, whichever is higher. And the first step up, the market goes up. It goes on, let's say it went up 10%. So now we stepped up your pension value to whatever that market value did. And then as we went down to later in years, the contract value or the market value goes down. The protected or your pension value still goes up by 5, 6, or 7%, depending on the version that is available. But these are very valuable resources. If you ask anybody that had an annuity in 2008, did you like it? It saved them from going back to work.
To summarize the things that we talk about when you're at my desk, we do call these private pension plans. So I'm going to wrap up some of the things that Doug talked about, because many of you in this room have a different GXN vehicle, but the characteristics are the same. So we talk about a private pension plan. 3 accumulation features. Now they may look different on the different vehicles, but you get a bonus. The bonus you get when the bonus is greater than the market. So for example, if you have a 7% bonus and the market does 8, you get 8. If you have a 5, okay, we just lost. Hello? Okay. If the market does negative 20, then you actually get the 7% bonus. If you have 5, it's a 5%. So everybody in this room has either 7 or 5. We have step-ups. You may have an annual step-up, and you may have a quarterly step-up. But we all have step-ups in these vehicles, all part of your Jackson annuity. The doubling benefit, again, everybody's got a doubling benefit. They look a little bit different on the different vehicles, but you have a doubling benefit. The important part of this, from all of your standpoints and how Doug started out, is we want income. You have a guaranteed stream of life for the rest of guaranteed stream of income for the rest of your life. We are using these distribution features to supplement either your pension, Social Security, whatever it may be. We do different vehicles that we can turn on at different times. So we use these, and we might turn one of your annuities on and not turn on another. We're working on this, sorry guys. Annuity, so that maybe when we have a long-term care need or a situation down the road that we need another spigot turned on, we have a different annuity to turn on that stream of income. Your first paycheck is your worst paycheck because the step-ups that occur on the accumulation side continue on the distribution side. So you will get a big raise, you will never take a haircut. You will never get a pay cut in your distribution. So these are the really simple points that we talk about. Doug goes into a much more complex discussion, but I wanted to summarize because these are what we go through when you're at my desk. So now we want to take questions. Anybody have any for Doug? Lynn?
What's the least amount of money you can open?
Okay, her question is, what's the least amount of money that an account can be opened with?
So the least amount that you can open an account with is $10,000. However, you really have to, and this is a discussion you obviously have with Terry. If I'm going to open it up with $10,000, we might be better off going into something other than this type of solution because of what the guarantee is. You're going to be paying fees on $10,000 to guarantee maybe $40 a year, or $400 a year, something along that lines. Is it worth it to you? And that's a discussion you have to have with Terry. But to answer your question, the least amount is $10,000.
So that, to answer from our end of it, Lynn, we will not open an account in something like this for $10,000. I don't recommend it at all. So generally, it's $100,000. We make some exceptions in certain instances where it's really critical that we do it, but for the most part, I want it to be $100,000 or more to make it cost effective. Anybody else have questions? Larry?
Is there a specific age where you have to turn on the income stream?
So the question was, is there a specific age when you have to turn on income? There's not, but the sweet spot to turn on income would be 65 or later. At age 90, age 95, we say you have to start taking income out of these different solutions. So no, but age 95, we force you to.
So we don't have to start, but there would be no reason not to start, because if we go back to the first bullet point after distribution, if you have a guaranteed stream of income for the rest of your life, what I don't like to see is someone be tight on their cash flow. You know I don't like B words like budget. I prefer F words, like financial plan. So what were you thinking? We want you to have those streams of income to enjoy your retirement. So we don't like to defer them for too long. Anybody else have any other questions for Doug? He'll be around, so if you don't have your question right now ready, or you'd like to ask it later, you're certainly welcome to.
The mechanism for protecting the downside is what is called an income rider. So your contract value is going to move up and down with the market, but there's a built-in feature that you pay for. It's the insurance feature that protects you on the downside, that guarantees your income.
That's how you protect that bonus.
Well, all three of those features are all part of the rider. Anybody else have a question?
Yep, we're using options to hedge that. Anybody could do what we're doing. It's just very, very, very expensive to do it on your own. Right. It's easier to do it through us. And there's a lot of companies that do what we do. There's Nationwide and Transamerica, MetLife, Prudential, well, no longer MetLife, Prudential, and you'll see those commercials. We don't advertise. You will not hear our name on TV. The reason that we don't advertise is, number one, we're a very conservative company. And number two, we would rather spend our money with advisors to do events like this rather than doing something that may be political or whatever it may be. Because a lot of the times that you run commercials or whatever, they come back and do more negatives than they do positives. And the other reason that we're so successful in what we do is that we're the only company that allows you to invest the money the way you want. And I'll repeat that because I think my mic went out, but we're the only company that allows you to invest the money the way you want. So when you compare us to the other competitors and the different companies that you hear on TV, that is a significant difference between us and them, is that our performance is fantastic because we allow the advisors to do what they want to do and invest the money the way they want.
And what Doug is saying, we talk about at my desk all the time. We can be 100% invested inside of the portfolio in Jackson, where some of the other companies will algorithm us out. If the market starts taking a downturn, they'll pull out 20% of your portfolio and put it into fixed income. And then they dollar cost average back in, and you might miss the best days in the market going back in. Jackson does not do that. Jackson allows us to say 100% invested. And Jackson has, and you know I say this as well, we're about value. They have the most reasonable fees out there. So we're really happy with our Jackson vehicles. So that's why this is always such a great meeting for us, because we believe very much in the Jackson vehicles. I've been using Jackson since 2002 and 2003. We love their variable annuities, and we believe very much in all of the benefits that they offer, the fees that are involved with them, the 100% investment opportunity. So we're just thrilled to have them as one of our partners. All right, we will move on if there are no further questions of Doug. Oh, ready?
What happens if you've got an emergency and need to take money out of the fund? How does that affect your value?
Yep, so if a lot of times, and this is where Terry comes in, is you won't put all your eggs in one basket. There's going to be emergency funds set up, and I'm sure that's the way Terry,
Yeah,
does the
we
plan.
never, if we can avoid taking anything out, because it'll affect the rider rate.
It's going to affect the rider.
And so the rider, the dollars that are built up, you have a cash value, you can take any amount of the cash value out. But the guaranteed value, which we review at everybody's reviews, thank you, that number is affected by a calculation. And if you take a lump sum out of the contract, it will impact that guaranteed stream of income. And what we don't like to do, we always create separate liquidity buckets that we can turn to so that we don't have to impact that rider, because you paid for it. You paid for that rider. So in most cases, we don't touch it if we can at all. It's always available. We do have it, and I shared today with someone that from a catastrophic standpoint, we always can touch it, but it has to be the last place that we go to touch it. All right, thank you so much, Doug.
No problem.